Start the show, there are minor to major spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched Eerie, or Ang Pangarap Kong Holdap, I urge you to click out now while you can. Now, on to the show.
Kilala ko ang history ng batang yan. Revolusyon at musika ang hilig niyan. Poetry ang passion niya.
Ang sabi nila sa akin, you're watching too many Hollywood movies.
Para explosive ito. Iserye mo.
Anong dehadas? Walang pupuntahan ito.
Hello guys, welcome to the Pervision podcast. I'm your host, Armand, and
I am Geoff.
Geoff.
You're Armand's co-host.
Wow, co-host. We're both co-hosts in
Yeah, so we're
Fair.
also the authors of the guys behind Unreel.ph. So
there are some girls behind it as well.
yeah, guys and girls,
Guys and
ladies
girls.
and gentlemen. All right, so this is the first ever episode of our podcast, and it's called Pervision. Why is it Pervision again, Armand?
Okay, so I think we can afford this luxury kasi first episode natin. So
you have to
I'm
explain.
just gonna explain really quick. There's a I guess I can call it idea in movies called persistence of vision. And it's I guess you can call it science as well. It's the science behind of seeing moving images. So instead of seeing 24 pictures in succession, you're seeing I'm sorry, that's my phone. That's your
Mine
phone.
also.
We have to turn it into silent now.
Oh, naka-silent naman yung akin, naka-vibrate.
Wait.
Ay, sound pala. Okay.
Okay.
Game.
Okay. So as I was saying, this idea or persistence of vision, it's the science behind seeing moving images.
Pictures.
So you're not seeing 24 different pictures in succession. You're seeing a second of movement in an image.
Similar to how they do it in cartoons, diba? Na
Yeah.
Parang they draw every parang sort of frame,
Mhm.
and then when you run them through together na mabilis, it's a moving moving image.
And pervision is also a double entendre for, I guess it's a made up word, but to us it means pervision. So every point of view. What that means to us is that every point of view that we share here is important and equal to the next.
Yes.
So-
And you don't have to be a professional critic to be for your view to
I guess
to
that makes
be
you
valid.
qualified. If anything, that makes you qualified. But I guess we won't look at it as like
prerequisite,
superior take on like someone who just walks into a movie theater.
because that's what we are.
that's who we are.
Oo.
We're just guys who just watches movies.
We like movies.
Oo.
We're not necessarily tipong we didn't have
We didn't go to school for this.
yes.
We just like watching movies.
And studying movies as well.
And I guess that's a good preface to what the podcast is going to be about. It's just us and our experience in the cinema,
Okay.
sharing our thoughts.
Yes. On that note, we're going to share our thoughts on 3 interesting films which we've watched recently. All of them have been, except for one pala. We're going to cover 3 different films. 2 of them have been released already this year, and then one has been screened na sa Singapore, but it's not commercially available yet. In 2019 pa siya lalabas here sa Philippines.
Okay, so Geoff is talking about 3 different movies. Since this is our first episode ever, we figured it would be a nice way to open the show with movies that didn't get a lot of attention this year 2018, and we hope to sort of shed some light into what those movies are about. Granted, not all of them are like super great, but So yun, the three movies are Ma by Kenneth Dagatan, which is available now in iwant.ph.
iwant.tv?
Is it? I think it's iwant.ph, but basta it's I Want, the
Oh.
like Netflix of ABS-CBN.
Okay, I'm gonna look it
And
up.
we also have Eerie by Mikhail Red, who
Mhm.
directed Birdshot and Neo Manila.
iwant.ph pala.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Mikhail Red, yun, guy who directed Birdshot and Neo Manila. By the way, Neo Manila is coming to to theaters next year also.
Neo Manila?
Yes.
Neo Manila?
Yes.
Babalik si Neo Manila?
Yes, January. It premiered in like the indie festivals, but it will go. It will have its
okay.
commercial run.
Parang mainstream na
Yeah.
release.
Yeah. And finally we have ang Pangarap Kong Holdap. I forgot who directed it. Can you look it up? Nick Shift.
Yeah. Kilala ko siya kasi nakikita ko siya yung mga short films niya sa YouTube. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Si si oh my god, nakahiya. Syempre yung kilala ko lang dun sina
Sila Pepe Herrera.
si Papa Herrera, sina Gerald Napoles. Oh my gosh. Sige. While I'm looking it up kung sino. Is it that hard to find kung sino yung director?
Okay, so hindi marunong mag-Google si Geoff. I will Google it myself.
Si Marius Talampas. Hello.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Siya yun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those three are are what's up on this episode of the Pervision podcast. Now on to the show.
Opo, pakias po si Mama.
Walang biyayang walang kapalit.
Mael? Buntis po kayo?
Oo, 6 na buwan na.
Pwede ko pong mahawakan?
May mga engkanto daw dyan sa loob. Anghel, demonyo. Basta parang wishing well daw to. Paano si Mama?
So let's start talking about Ma by Kenneth Dagatan. Do you want to start?
Okay, not to be confused with Nai, with with Enchong D. Tama ba? Yun ba yun?
Oh, tagal na nun do.
Oo.
Ano nga ulit dun? Sino yung director nun?
Ay naku, ito na naman tayo sa mga director.
I forgot.
Hindi-
Basta,
hindi
it's
ko rin
also a horror movie, right?
Yeah,
Nai,
oo.
okay.
Pero
But we're not here to talk about Nai. We're talking about Ma.
which is a really good film in my opinion. Do you agree na maganda siya?
Yeah. But first, let's talk about what it's about. Siguro I'll start. So it's I think it's the first I Want TV original movie that they let people see. Because it premiered in the 2018 Cinema One Originals Film Festival. I guess you just call it, I think, Cinema One Originals Festival, not Film Festival, because they also exhibit some other stuff there. But that's a whole new topic. So, Ma is by Kenneth Dagatan. If you guys don't know who he is, you should, kasi he's a really good genre filmmaker. I first caught notice of him during a Cinemalaya year. I forgot what year, basta yun yung year na puro short films. Because apparently they didn't have money to produce full length that year. I'm not sure about the logistics behind that decision, but in that edition of the Cinemalaya Film Festival, there were only short films, and I saw his short film Sanctissima, which is about an abortionist, and it was a really great film. It was my and I mean this in the most positive way. If you watch Sanctissima, it is textbook horror goodness. That's kind of cheesy to say, but it's a really good example of how horror should be handled, and that kind of craft, or that level of I guess polish at this early in his career translates over quite beautifully in Ma. And what it's about is also kind of tied to the idea of motherhood. As I've mentioned, Sanctissima
Yes.
is about abortionist. Of course, there are ties to motherhood
Mhm.
in that story. Um, but here we have Ma, and it's about a mysterious cave in the province where, um, very oddly, there's a tree that sort of grows inside the cave, and it's kind of
Parang
mystical.
bush lang siya at first.
Bush lang siya at
Oo,
first,
parang
and
shrub.
then there's this guy called Samuel who takes notice of that tree. I guess that the tree someone's him inside the cave. Um, and then basically winowoo siya to like winowoo siya to do like
To
evil things. I guess that's how I would describe it, in exchange for his wish or for his desire um to cure his mother of her very terminal illness. The illness is undisclosed, but she's very ill. She's coughing blood, and Samuel wants her mother well. So he goes to the cave and asks for a wish, and then the cave says,
gawin mo to.
yeah, gawin mo to.
Wait lang, sorry, let me cut you. Yung are we allowed naman to give spoilers or parang
Oh no, later.
Okay,
Later, I'm
sige.
just setting up the premise, but it's
Sige.
about. But I'm sorry, this is kind of messy because it's our first episode. It's obviously gonna be messy. But to reel back a little bit, Ma is about a mysterious cave who grants wishes, and it so happens that a child who has some darkness in him goes to that cave and asks the cave to cure his mother who is ill, and then at some point her mother dies, and so the cave wants more in exchange for that transaction, and so as you could imagine, the cave wants
higher na price.
higher prices. At first, he would ask for like any
Parang masyado mo
life.
nang sinaspoil. Ang layo na lang naabot ng kwento mo.
No. Okay, sige.
Kasi parang
sige, how would
sinabi
you-
mo nang namatay si si mommy.
But that's like, okay, sige. How would you describe Ma?
Ha?
Okay, really the plot of Ma.
Hindi, para siyang supernatural na yung premise lang is you can stay dun sa merong tree or shrub na parang it grants wishes, but it also asks for something in return. So there's may kid na parang maybe he has a darkness in him, or maybe yung tree yung dahilan kung bakit naging sort of dark siya after he met that tree. Hindi pala, kasi before he met the tree, nag-ano na siya, 'di ba? Na siya.
now you're telling spoilers. Okay, let's reel this back real quick. It's about that cave, and a boy goes inside there, and like weird shit happens. And then elsewhere in Manila or in the city, there's a pregnant lady who basically has like the worst kind of time in her life right now. Her boyfriend took his own life, and there are some allusions in the movie that she had some affair with her own stepdad, which is kind of fucked up, but this is like a horror movie, so it's like kind of given. And then she finds herself back to her hometown, which is the same province where the cave is in. So yun yung basic setup. At some point in the movie, both Samuel and Cecil, the teacher and pregnant lady that I was talking about kanina, at some point in the movie they will cross paths, and some truly dark things happen, and some truly horrific things will happen. Now that that's out of the way, finally, what are our thoughts on the movie?
Looking back right now na parang, di ba, ang tagal natin siya napanood. Parang, after listening to you tell the premise, it sounds like, alam mo yung mga horror stories na kinukwento sa probinsya, na parang, kasi ako lumaki ako sa probinsya, tapos madalas yung mga horror stories kinagkukwentuhan. The story sounds very much like it, na parang tipong merong bata, tapos may na-discover, tapos, alam mo yung, it's relatable because feeling natin it's close to home.
Okay, to that point, there are a lot of moments that touched on that, na parang it's like kwento-kwento sa mga baryo ganyan, and
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
and even the story of the cave is actually rooted from folklore.
Yeah. Totoong folklore yun.
No, they reference it in the movie na parang ito yung haunted house
Okay.
nung baryo natin, or like nung town natin. Okay, but I'll start siguro the ball rolling on my thoughts on the movie. You can read my thoughts on the website, by the way. It's already up. I've already said everything that I wanted to say about the movie. But I would just like to reiterate that it's one of the best horror movies that has come out in the Philippines this year. That is our own. And that is predicated on the fact that this movie is so patiently made. There is a 17-minute prelude before the title even flashes on the screen. And those 17 minutes are devoted to just following Samuel and learning who he is through some some scenes na medyo kind of disturbing as openers in a movie. It's also so incredibly patient in that the setup is so simple, and it devotes its entire running time, which is kind of brisk. Maiksi lang siya, but the pace is so deliberate, it's so exacting, to the point na the payoff is also simple, but it's so gruesome when you see it unfold on screen. There is one key scene that I won't go into. It's just a marvel of causality that is rooted from this notion of loving your kin, loving your mother, loving your child, and that's kind of an unbreakable bond na even yung mga supernatural stuff that's happening around you can't break. And ayun, that's about how I would put my love for this movie. It's definitely about motherhood. There are a lot of moments in the movie that directly speaks to that, and even visually, even the visual of the image of a cueva is like, sorry to
Vagina.
diba siyang it's a vaginal, no, it's a vaginal image. And also you have like less ostentatious references, like si Mama Mary, a very imposing figure on the house that Cecil is staying in. So it's a very interesting and at the same time very thrilling experience to have from such a very young director. And this is actually, by the way, his debut feature. So this is the first feature length film. So if you don't know the name Kenneth Dagatan, I think you should know him after this. I would highly recommend that you watch it. It's really good. But how about you? What are your thoughts on it?
Pretty much more or less the same naman. What's striking for me is yung visuals niya are remarkably done. Na it's also not one of those horror films na nag-rely heavily on mga jump scares.
Oh yeah.
It's it disturbs essentially. So parang tipong it's the kind of film na even after you leave the cinema you think about it. Yung mga tipong it's the kind of horror movie na you'd love to talk about right after the cinema. Hindi yung parang yung moment of takot ay within the jump scare lang na parang gulat lang. It's really horror.
It's
it's terror talaga.
Oh, it
Kasi-
doesn't.
Kasi the terror in the film does not come from not just from the external force na let's say yung tree. The horror comes from the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Na parang yun nga, sabi nga
What
ni
they're
Armand,
willing to do.
what they're willing to do for their kin, for their mothers, na parang what if all of us have these darkness pala within us, na parang yung si Cecil, yung
Played by
character.
Ana Luna.
Si Ana Luna. Parang all throughout the film, parang okay siya yung victim, siya yung kawawa. She's supposedly yung parang the good girl, the good person versus yung yung bad elements.
In
Pero-
genre speak, the final girl.
The final girl, okay. The final girl. Pero when dumating tayo sa isang crucial moment, parang we discover na, okay, there's also a darkness to this girl na parang it turns out na, shit, siya pala yung something, gano'n. O, siya palang, ayoko na i-spoil, basta may sort of revelation. So, that's what makes it work as a horror film for me. Hindi siya yung parang tipong, there's just an external force na bad guy. It's the horror is within the
Yeah.
characters mismo.
Can we talk about the pace of this movie real quick? It's really slow.
Yeah, pero it's not boring,
yeah.
no? Parang you appreciate the slowness, the way that it savors each scene kasi yun nga, yung visuals nga ay maganda. So I didn't mind na parang it took its time in some of the scenes kasi crucial din naman yung paglinger niya sa mga relevant na eksena.
May gamit.
Yes.
Yun. So, just to add to his thoughts, the pace of this movie is really dead on. You don't see it quite often in a lot of our horror movies. Most of the time, horror movies, modern horror movies are very frenetic, nimble, efficient in their pace. But this one really wants to sizzle yung mga imahe na pinapakita niya sa'yo. And there is that one fucking like super nakakilabot na moment that instead of just cutting away from that and like showing it up close, it just stays there. The shot just stays there and follows it skyward. The image is seared in my brain now, and I'm 1000% sure I will still be talking about it years later after having watched the movie twice.
Twice na?
Once in the cinema and once using the it's in iwant.
Sige. Na-access mo na si iwant.
Yes, oo. Pero we'll talk about how crappy the UI of that app is, but iwant, we love you, but you know the UI is kind of clunky.
There's promise.
So yun, to wrap your thoughts, how is Ma?
Actually, it reminds me of if you're familiar with yung Vesuvius ni Eric Mati. Parang ganun din siya na it's slow, tapos gradually na nagpa-progress, it also lingers, and parang sinisavor niya yung mga imagery dun sa dun sa film.
To the uninitiated, Vesuvius is a short film directed by Eric Mati. It premiered online primarily because it's supposed to be an online short film. It's part of an online short film competition.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nanalo ba yun?
I don't know. I forgot.
Nasa YouTube siya. Pwede niya siya parang sa YouTube.
Yes.
Ang ganda, nakakatakot. As in, yun talaga yung disturbing na parang takot ako mag-isa sa bahay. Ganun. Ayun. So, see Vesuvius and then see it on YouTube, tapos you'll get an idea of how Ma is by
I see what you
Vesuvius.
mean. Yung parang like,
Di ba may mandami ding imagery doon na
yeah.
meron ding mga Mama Mary something, tapos until parang gradual yung niya, yung progress niya towards the climax na doon nangyari lahat. Parang ganun si patient din si Vesuvius, just like Ma.
Okay. Okay. Go see Ma in iwant. I'm sure there are...
iwant, pwede pala nila panoorin sa iwant.
Yeah. You can watch it now. You can skip Vesuvius if you want.
Yeah.
You can just watch it. It's really great.
Yes.
And I'm sure there might be some opportunity to like premiere it in like a proper setting. If you can watch it in cinemas, or if you can force your local cinema to screen it, do it. It's really great. It's really great. Yes. Now, on to the next movie. It's called Eerie by Mikhail Red.
Matagal na ako nandito sa Santa Lucia. Maraming mga kwentong kumakalat tungkol dito. Sa dami ng kwentong narinig ko, hindi ko na alam kung alin doon ang gawa-gawa. At alin doon ang paniniwalaan ko. Pero ito, ang sigurado kong totoo. Tuwing hating gabi, sa third floor corridor, may makikita kang CR. Sa dulong cubicle, may nagpakamatay. Ang pangalan, Erica.
Classes were suspended for the day. Today we pray. We mourn.
Ano nangyari kay Erica? May namatay dito ng gabi mo.
Kung manggugulo ka lang habang ang iba ay nagluluksa, bibigyan kita ng muling pagkakataon. Magdasal ka, Patricia, para matahimik ang konsensya mo.
Magandang gabi, Eerie. Kamusta ka?
Labas tayo dito, Miss Pat.
Saan tayo pupunta?
Gusto mo pa rin bang sumama? Kung pwede lang sana lumabas dito.
Paparating na siya.
Lahat kasi sila natatakot sa akin. Bakit ikaw hindi?
Dapat ba ako matakot?
You're very lucky to have watched it in advance. In advance.
Yes.
We won't go into detail how we watched it. But we
Pero
watched it.
Hindi illegal ha. Baka isipin nila illegal yun. We're able to see it in advance. Hindi pa siya actually pinapalabas here sa Philippines. Pinalabas pa siya sa Singapore.
In Singapore International Film Festival 2018.
It's coming out in the Philippines ng first quarter ng
yes.
2019. So, medyo malapit na rin.
And it's worth noting that we've watched an earlier cut of the movie than what they've premiered in SGIF.
Yes.
So, but it's essentially the same because according to Mikhail, the director of the movie, it's a pick lock already. When you say pick lock, it's visually what you see in the screen is basically the film. They're just gonna polish some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we saw in that advanced, very close, intimate screening is, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm conflicted about it, because Mikhail is undoubtedly a very talented filmmaker.
Yeah, he's actually one of my favorites.
Great.
Parang prior to Eerie, I loved all of his films, from Recorder, Birdshot, Neo Manila. Yun pa lang, no? Tatlo pa lang so far.
I think so.
Tama naman ba si Recorder sa kanya yun?
Yeah.
Ayun. Yung Recorder, hindi ko pa siya kilala dati, pero when I saw it in Cinemalaya, as in, tungtuwa ako sa kanya, gusto ko siya. That was one of his parang less refined films pa, pero parang if you see Birdshot.
But I think that's part of the appeal of that movie. It's kinda
aesthetic din ng film yun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Eerie is about
parang it's
how do we explain it?
Similar to how Ma is parang tipong kwentong probinsya, kwentong baryo, horror stories.
Gusto ko i-connect mo talaga siya kay Ma.
Oo. Well, si Eerie naman, you know how parang every school have their own horror stories? Na, yung school mo ba, yung high school mo before, may mga kwento-kwento rin kayo nakakatakot, like, may white lady sa ganito, may kapre sa ganyan, may...
No?
Wala. Ano ba yan? Or baka it's a probinsya thing?
It's not a probinsya thing, but I get what you mean. There are a lot of haunted school stories.
Oo, yung mga lumang school. Sa UST nga daw marami kasi lumang-luma na yung university. Ay, hindi luma,
way to name drop university.
matagal na yung university. Ayun. So, in the same way na parang Ma felt personally kasi some of us grew up with horror stories from the probinsya. Ito naman, it also feels close to home because of this is essentially a high school horror story na parang yun nga, even the plot of the of Eerie revolves around a horror story dun sa school nila.
Okay, so Eerie follows a guidance counselor who happens to be a clairvoyant, meaning she can sense or feel or even
See.
interact with
Supernatural
spirits. And the school that she works for is run by this dogmatic. By the way, the guidance counselor is played by Bea Alonso, who's really great in this. And equally great is the dogmatic mother figure or the matriarch played by, I forgot her character name, but she's played by the super great, forever great Charo Santos. It just so happens that in this school there had been a lot of incidents lately, particularly suicide cases. And the school, as you can imagine, they're in chaos. They're in crisis mode, and with how they will handle their outsiders perception, how they will handle the students internally and everything. Underneath all that, there's the typical horror kind of
may nag-haunt na spirit.
stuff, typical horror stuff where things jump into you in the dark. So may mga ganong stuff. That's, I think I can say it's kind of J horror to me, the way they approached it. Japanese horror.
Well, may scene doon na very talaga yung eksena ng sinasabi mo na very The Ring or very The Grudge. May one particular scene doon na ganun siya.
And to me, like just to connect it again, there's also this effort to make the pace work with what the film is trying to say, it's trying to convey. It's deliberate as well as it's I guess some of its setups and set pieces. But I don't think it lands as quite as neatly as Ma. I think being a star cinema movie, I think Mikhail even said this before letting us watch it, that it's kind of an indie festival horror mixed with some star cinema elements, and you can sense how much of the movie is like star cinema. With just
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Typically it's a bad thing, but there are a lot of star cinema movies that have been
to be fair
pretty
naman,
good. But just the mix of it as a horror movie is kind of not there for me.
This
but
is his first horror film.
horror film, but you can sense in like Birdshot that he can do horror. There are a lot of supernatural moments in that movie. Anyway, to go back to what I was saying, as a horror movie, I'm kind of not feeling it now that it's I feel kind of conflicted about it because its center is so strong, what it wants to say, and how compassionately it tries to say what it wants to say about suicide. I kind of want to like love it, but I just can't like put myself into the head space that's required for me to like love this kind of balls to the wall horror thriller supernatural Sadako is behind you kind of movie. I don't know, not my cup of tea for now, but I'm excited to see the other projects that Mikhail has in the pipeline. I don't know about you, how you feel about this movie.
Yeah, okay, so
long silence.
Well, 'di ba si Ma parang we said hindi siya nag-invest on the
per black tama.
Wait lang, ang hirap kasi kasi parang silang horror, so siguro naman okay lang i-compare.
Sana hindi natin i-compare
Ang
Pangarap Kong Holdap.
Well, okay, sige. So I remember how we said na si Ma is parang hindi siya nag-rely on the jump scares. Si Eerie naman there's a lot of it, and okay, there's a lot of jump scares, but the problem is even the jump scares ay medyo hindi naman ako hindi ako nagugulat. So
It's kind of like the fun house effect, like the horror house effect na parang the like whoo. It's like meant to startle you, not to scare you.
yes, although hindi rin ako nasa startle din.
At all?
Oo, kasi I'm not sure if it's because of the setup where we viewed it. Kasi we haven't seen it in a proper cinema pa. Parang it's just a small room tapos may projection.
It's in the office of the studio.
Oh, so siguro if it's a bigger screen and the sound is better, baka nandun yung gulat factor. But okay, so I would say that this is a jump scare movie, but even the jump scares weren't working for me.
Okay.
So I wasn't also feeling it very much, but I don't know, same din yung sentiments na parang you know that there could be more, but we'll just have to parang wait for future films na lang for us to be able to feel what else Mikhail can do for horror. Kasi obviously he can do it. Yun nga with what we've seen with Birdshot na tipong okay, it's not a horror film pero there's an air of creepiness and parang supernatural and something parang vile or parang ganun sa ano.
To your point about the jump scares, I think for me it almost kind of works until I lose my grip of convincing myself that it's like an homage to Japanese horror. Because to me, the jump scares, like what motivates the jump scares, how cruel this vengeful spirit could be, what kind of trigger that. What motivates that is kind of strong to me. I could feel how deep it goes. That anger and that fury that spirit feels. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's clunky to as a whole. That makes me feel conflicted about this movie because I feel like the emotional center and the message that it wants to convey is super strong. I don't think anyone who watched this movie will miss it. Will miss what it wants to say, what it tries to spread through its movie. And I guess that could be the point. It's just a movie that raises awareness to the masses about suicide, which is super important and a super brave and noble undertaking.
Well, I'm not saying naman na jump scares are all bad. Parang siguro when used properly or parang when used the right way, it works. Like parang marami namang jump scare movies na nakakatuwa, like or jump scare moments in films na parang yun nga tama yung gamit and pero dito kasi parang sometimes medyo excessive na rin yung jump scare.
And that's not even the biggest problem of it. I think the problem is the screenwriting itself. I don't think I'm not sure if Mikhail wrote it. I think it was
I
fact check that.
I'm googling it.
I'm not sure if he wrote it entirely or he wrote it with someone
diba?
else.
First entry sa Google yung natin, post Unreel.
Wow, self-plug. Who wrote it? It's
writer I see Mariah.
Yeah, so yeah, you know, it's not Mikhail. It's not Mikhail's script, so it's not. I don't know. It's clunky in parts. But at some point I liked where it was going, and then it kind of fell apart in terms of story.
Pero to be fair, ang ganda rin ng shots, ng visuals niya. Nung ano pa lang, nung simula, even with the projection na setup that we have, yung simula pa lang niya na yung may mga nag-exercise na mga na students pala, ganyan, tapos guided by, parang binabantay ng mga madre, parang ang ganda ng pagkakakuha. So, I think that part is Mikhail na. So, parang, okay, the story itself may not be perfect, pero I just want to say na yung shots and the visuals are nicely done.
Yeah, still it doesn't like make it make it good. Okay, so go see it when it comes out and let us know what you think. For me, the version that I saw, which is kind of similar to what you will be seeing in the coming months, is not there, especially succeeding films like Neo Manila and Birdshot. So I don't know. It's quite. I don't know if it's quite at par to that kind of filmmaking that I've grown to love. And we saw Birdshot for the first time together, right? In
Yes.
Shangri-La.
Sa Shangri-La.
It's like a super fucking beautiful movie. But this one is kind of just okay. I still stand by my opinion that it has a super strong center. And part of that is the instrument that is Gabby Padilla, her character. Siya yung parang sa kanya tayo nakatether kasi siya yung living person na who kind of threatens to like end her life. That makes it super real for me. And just on a lighter note, I think Gabby Padilla should do another movie set inside the all-girl school following Billy and Emma after this. Para tatlo. So, yan, go see it when it comes out in Q1 of 2019. And let us know what you think.
Tatay ko yung pinakamagaling na holdapper sa kasaysayan ng barangay, tapos yung kaisa-isa niyang anak ni mga hold up.
Si Nicoy, ang bagong miyembro ng grupo ninyo.
Ha? Wala namang grupo nagkaroon ng 4 na members. Never.
Ganun talaga pag mga hold up, kailangan buwan loob mo.
Wala pa akong experience sa pang-hold up. Pero kasi mabilis naman ako matuto eh.
Para! Hold up to!
Gutom na ako.
Subukan ko?
Tanggapin natin na wala talaga tayong pag-asang maging hold-upper. Ako, mag-apply na lang akong call center.
Yan talaga yung pangarap ni Eman eh. May pagmalaki siya ni Kataing.
Matagal na namin pangarap na maging number 1 na holdapper sa Barangay Husay. At ngayong kasama ka na namin, makakamit na namin yun. Kampay!
May alam ako isang bentahan na magaganap. Kaibigan kong negosyante.
Pero sa bibili na item.
Sa grupo ng magsasaka.
Ano kaya sa palagay mo bibili nila?
Item na ginto.
10 million ang halaga nito. 10 million?
Eh mukhang walang balak ibigay sa'yo yung item.
Pakita mo yung pera.
50-50 tayo.
Saan ba natin titirahin to? Makukuha natin yung pera, makukuha pa natin yung item. Doble ang kita natin.
Gusto mo lang yung item. Ano ba yun?
Ito na tamang pagkakataon para patunayan natin ng mga tunay tayong hold-upper.
Magiging alamat tayo. Itong hold up na to, magiging pinakamalupit na hold up sa kasaysayan ng hold up.
One time, big time lang to.
Imposible yun. Palpak yan.
Magtatagumpay yan.
Palpak!
Gusto mong pisilin ko yung bayag mo?
Gusto mong banatang kita patalikod? Gusto mo sa akin kayupit mo?
Yes!
Sasama-sunay ko kay Let's sa Impyerno pag di niyo binigyan pera ko! Teka! Easy money! Tayo to, di ba?
Oo.
Ano to?
Ayaw ko, sinelas mo yan eh.
Nakaba na tayo!
I'm not excited about the last movie.
Ang
How
Pangarap Kong
about
Holdap?
you?
Bakit ka excited? Okay naman siya. Fun siya i-discuss.
Magkano ba yung magkano yung bangka?
Alin, yung dilaw o yung puti?
Yung puti.
150.
Magkano yung naman yung dilaw?
150 din.
Bakit pareho naman pala? Bakit?
Kasi yung dilaw sa akin.
Yung puti.
Sa akin din.
Gago to. Anyway, ang Pangarap Kong Holdap is a movie by Marius Talampas.
Yes.
We now know the name of the director.
Yes. May mga may mga short films siya that you can see on YouTube which are really funny. It also stars Pepe Herrera. As in, si Pepe Herrera lang yung lahat ng characters doon. Like kahit 3 pa yung characters, Pepe Herrera.
That makes it super funny. What if ang Pangarap Kong Holdap is all Pepe Herrera lang, di ba? So,
Try mo kung paano gagawin yun. Ang hirap-hirap.
Indeed, I think that part of the appeal of his videos, at least the few ones that I saw, is that it's all Pepe Herrera because Pepe Herrera is super fucking funny.
Yes.
And this movie is not. Dang, dang, dang.
Hindi siya like hilariously funny, but it's amusing. Na parang, nakakatuwa naman siya panoorin, pero hindi yung parang kakatawa.
I don't know, it's kinda more on 5.
Wait, to be fair, hindi tayo tumatawa, pero there are some people with us in the cinema na
Yeah.
genuinely natatawa sila. So, humor can be subjective in that way, pero kaming dalawa ni Armand, nag-agree kami na parang tipong hindi siya yung tipong laugh out loud, ruffle type of fun. Like, I even think na some of the jokes are corny, pero it's the premise itself na nakakatuwa for me na
Speaking of premise, I think we should start first with the premise of the movie before even going about how it's good or not or whatever. Do you want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there's a holdapper played by Pepe Herrera who's like his entire life he wants to be like a super legendary holdapper like his dad. So spoiler alert, ayun yung parang arc niya na parang, okay, may daddy issues ako. I need to be like my dad, whatever. And he has a group of friends. Well, two sila, equally kind of moronic, like him, who can't pull off a simple hold up. And the opening scene of the movie is them being mangled by a lady because they were so shitty at their jobs. And at some point, there's a character played by Paolo Contis who joins their crew and, somehow makes them good. Well, not really, and because there's a lot going on in this movie besides
Ang
that.
hirap na hindi mong spoil, pero
Mahirap hindi mang spoil because think of it this way that ang Pangarap Kong Holdap has some arcs that are seemingly not connected, but they will be eventually.
And they are predictable na parang tipong even if we spoil it to you now, parang it's not like you wouldn't know it in the first place.
Like you wouldn't see it a mile away. No?
Oo, yeah. So, ang hirap. But, that's it. Parang a group of holdapers.
That's not it.
Hindi, I mean, the premise, a group of holdapers na trying to be good at what they're doing, pero they can't until may pumasok si
Paolo Contis, who kind of makes their team better, but only a little bit. But then, get this. There's a golden edits.
Oh my gosh, bakit mo sinasport?
It's the first frame.
Alam mo, hindi nakalagay sa
It's the first frame.
Part of
okay, we'll put
promo
the
nila yun sa
spoiler warning
teasers.
in the beginning of this episode.
Yun ka yung pang-tease nila sa mga teaser nila na parang, ano ba yung item? Ano
Yung
item?
pang-tease yung edits.
Yun yun. As in, parang ako mismo na-curious ako, ano ba yung item na hinahanap nila? Tapos yun pala, yun nga.
No, because nagwiwi ka and you missed the first frame. And the first frame is a golden edit.
Yun nga, sa mga teasers nila, hindi nila sinasabi ko ano yung item na yun.
Okay.
Spinoil mo sa kanila kung ano yung item.
I told you I'm going to put a spoiler warning at the beginning of this episode.
Okay, ayan.
Apparently, it's super valuable. His edits is literally gold. And it's worth millions. And a lot of people in the Philippines need money. So a lot of people are looking for that golden edits. And it just so happens that our ragtag group of holdappers get entangled in a mission that will eventually lead them to that search of the lapu-lapu-goldenedits.com.
So that's going to be their ultimate heist na they're going to plan how to get the hindi nga yung edits yung,
hindi mo masabi.
hindi nga nila alam na edits yun pero parang gusto nilang gawin yung ultimate heist na ayun.
Yeah, they themselves they don't know that it's like a golden.
Ano ba yan? Ang hirap. Maka-move on na nga tayo sa golden edits.
To wrap it all up, your thoughts on the movie?
ayun nga, sinabi ko na. Ano? Hindi the jokes aren't funny.
No, let's not talk about the jokes. Let's talk about the humor of the because jokes can hit or miss, but the overall humor. What can you say about it?
Interesting yung premise niya na parang this time we're following the Holdappers, and funny yung fact na pangarap kong maging Holdapper, 'di ba? That's what the title is, na parang there are even teasers na parang sinasabi nung parents nung one of the Holdappers na wala ko anak na hindi magiging Holdapper. It's very absurd, and parang it's weird kasi it's not hard to believe na may mga people talaga who would aspire to be really good Holdappers.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think that the movie is like trying to shove that thinking. But I get what you mean.
Hindi naman na parang yun nga yung naging controversy, 'di ba, na tipong baka you're
endorsing na maging
Holdapper. Pero that's what the characters want to be. Yun, yung premise na yun ang nakakatuwa and interesting for me, na even while I'm seeing it, even while everything is predictable, and the best that it got from me with the jokes are parang mga small chuckles lang. Natuwa ako panoorin kasi ang absurd ng idea na these guys.
So this is not a laugh out loud movie, this is a chuckle movie.
Yeah. Ganun lang siya. Ayun, even with Pepe Herrera's parang innate talent at comedy, parang some of the jokes don't really land, and then you can see na he's really trying hard to make it work. I don't know. Pero parang hindi talaga naglaland yung some of the jokes for me.
For me, I think it's like trying to be smart, but it's not really smart. It's not like moronic like the characters. I think there are some thought that went into this, but I think it thinks that it's smarter than how
what it really
than how it really is. Because the premise itself is kind of like off kilter and oddball, na parang in this reality, like there's a group of people who are like genuinely, like legitimately, they want to be Holdappers, and it's like their dream. And then you have these two characters who are just kind of drifters, who just kind of they just go to where their friend takes them. They don't really have any wants or like desires as characters. And you can use that. It's kind of commentary on how like Filipino families are kind of imposing into what path we should take in terms of career, and like where
grabe ang layo na ng inabot ng
but that's but that's like you can use that to justify the premise of wanting to be a Holdapper just because your dad is like the best Holdapper in
impress yung dad niya.
But and there definitely beyond that, there are a lot of moments and there are a lot of setups in the movie that make it kind of worth exploring. The setup is very I don't know if I should call it Tarantino like. I don't know if that's degrading to Tarantino. Because there are a lot of different points of view from which the movie is told. You have Kate Alejandrino, who is like a very assertive prostitute in this movie. She also appears in Ma, by the way. Pew 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 pew, connection made.
Internet, na-connect natin.
And there's also Paulo Contis, who he's actually not an aspiring Holdapper. He's actually a policeman who's undercover.
You would have guessed that.
Yeah.
The first moment na pumasok siya sa exam.
So there's the like whole setup of like the different points of view of the story. And then all will culminate in this search for the golden edits. Towards the middle, it kind of all fell apart. So it's just like this is not gonna work at all. And it didn't. I was right midway through the film. But if you're sort of the kind of person who just wants to go in and just laugh at something, stupid. Not that the movie is inherently stupid, but the events in the movies are stupid to a fault. This movie might do it for you, but I think that's exactly the problem with this movie. You want to laugh at it instead of laugh with it. It doesn't do it for me.
Wait, I'm searching yung ano. I think one of parang there's this indie film na we also saw this year na parang better version of Pangarap Kong Holdap na there's this kid tapos meron siyang nabuntis na babae and then yung may pinatay siya na farmer kasi inutusan siya ni
Si Hitboy. Hitboy ba?
Hitboy, tama.
Oh,
Hitboy.
funny yun. Kay Bor Ocampo yun eh.
Oo, yun yung parang tipong parang funny na parang seryoso din at the same time.
Yeah, it's not
Parang-
it's not gets mo, it's like distinctly its own na hindi siya yung parang like
hindi siya yung trying hard to make you laugh. It's just funny in itself na parang tipong I'm not even sure if yung simula ng film in-establish na it's going to be a sort of comedy pero eventually parang naging parang naging over the top yung mga pangyayari and even the characters na naging funny siya at some point. So I'd rather watch that and I think that's mas nakakatawa yun than ang Pangarap Kong
So
Holdap.
what do we give this? Is this a good or bad? I don't know. What?
For me, I wouldn't see it in the cinema. Parang siguro it's one of the...
And spoiler alert, you can't anymore. Pew, pew, pew,
tapos
pew.
na. Wala na.
Wala na.
Ayun, that's one of the issues kasi it had na parang some of the cinemas weren't willing to screen it because of the title, which is ano ba yun? Parang hello daw yung title dyan na mas...
Can I just say, they let, like, ano yung Duterte movie na yun? Yung Kamandag ng Droga or something like that. They fucking let that slide. And I think this movie, as much as I didn't really enjoy watching it, I think they're kind of giving in this one a harder time than.
And it's the cinemas, no? It's the cinemas who don't want to show it, not the ano.
I'm not sure.
Yung mga cinemas yata ayaw nila i-screen. Kasi ang alam ko nagka-rating naman to sa MTRCB ng R16 yata or whatever. Pero yung wala nga yatang cinemas until eventually nung may clamor online for it. Kasi parang mukhang funny nga naman yung mga teasers. Ayun,
And it's Pepe Herrera.
Yeah, oo.
And there's also Gerald Napoles who plays this. Like,
funny din si Gerald
funny.
May Ilonggo accent siya doon.
Ilonggo ba yun?
Ilonggo to ay.
I think that does it for our first episode. No, it's really fun.
So parang
wild na.
Out of the 3 movies, isa yung parang tipong we genuinely loved. Na parang we really loved pala. The others are parang so lang for us. It's not 100%.
Well, the one I'm really conflicted about. It's Eerie.
Yeah. Parang out of the 3 siguro Eerie yung ano ba naman yan? Gusto ko kasi yung
But wait,
other
let's
films
set
ni
this
Mikhail.
straight. You didn't like Eerie and ang Pangarap Kong Holdap, right?
Ang Pangarap Kong Holdap is okay for me.
It's okay.
I would still see it. It's just that na siguro I won't pay.
And Eerie is like the no for you.
Yeah, parang
okay.
Feeling ko siguro ang taas na expectations ko of it because I super love the earlier films of Mikhail. Tapos biglang ito, I don't know. Ayun.
Okay, for me baliktad. The no for me is ang Pangarap Kong Holdap.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm conflicted about Eerie. But that's kinda hard already because I already know that as I walk into the movie, I already know that it's been touched by Star. So I already have that expectation, and still it kinda it impressed me a little, but it also kinda let me down a little. So I feel conflicted about it. But At the end of the day, what we can agree on is that you should see Ma on iwant.tv. And yeah, that does it for our first episode of the Pervision podcast. I hope you guys had a great time. I know we had a great time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to discuss movies at ArmandDC, and you can follow Joffrey
at Geoff Review. That's GeoffReview.
They know how to spell.
Hindi yung
unlike
Geoff
you.
Kasi, yung Geoff, alam mo, King Joffrey yun. Ayun.
Fair enough.
Yes. So, let us know your thoughts. Leave comments wherever this will be posted.
Oh, this will be posted on the Unreel.ph website. So,
On the website. Okay.
you can subscribe for now to Unreel.ph because this is still not in the iTunes library or the Spotify library. It will be hosted on the Unreel.ph website. So make sure to check that every week or every day if you want. We will love you for it. See you guys next time. Bye.